Welcome to the show, everybody. Today I have the honor to talk to Mike Maloney. Hi, Mike. It's been a while, 10 years.
Yeah, it has been a while. You were such a gracious host when I was down there. You brought me down to speak to an audience with Blair Singer. That was back when I was with the Rich Dad team, and it was great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, if you ever want to come again, please be my guest. Have you gone to Galapagos yet?
To what?
Galapagos Islands.
Oh, no, I haven't. And you were
Bucket list.
talking about them when I was there last, but we
Was
just
there?
didn't have time to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd
Now
love
you
to.
do, I hope. Today I wanted to talk to you because, well, I've been studying with you silver and gold as an investment. And the
Yeah.
thesis is very interesting. Basically, they store value because our currency is printed into oblivion. Basically, that's how the system works. That's how it's designed to be. So gold, there's a limited amount of gold, there's a limited amount of silver. Makes sense, right? But today I wanted to talk to you because I've been hitting my head against the wall for a year or two since you started talking about Bitcoin. As value investors, we do not like Bitcoin. We kind of hate it. It's called rat poison square. But then I started studying it, and more, and quite frankly, I've changed my mind. So I wanted you to please explain us why you're obviously an analytic guy. You're not a speculator. Why Bitcoin?
Well, Bitcoin is one of actually thousands of cryptocurrencies or digital assets that you can buy. And Bitcoin is the original one that a guy named Satoshi Nakamoto designed. In fact, if you want to understand cryptocurrencies, the very best way you can do that is an episode of Hidden Secrets of Money that I made a couple of years ago. It's episode 8 of Hidden Secrets of Money, and you'll understand what blockchain technology is, and then there's some new technologies. We showed Hashgraph in there, which is gaining popularity. Bitcoin itself is because it's the first, it's not necessarily the most well designed, but these digital assets have the power to either free mankind or enslave mankind. And we're getting to an inflection point right now. There is the Federal Reserve. I'm going to look at my computer screen here because there's a story that the Federal Reserve is exploring right now blockchain technology to be, Fed direct money transfers are coming. Bernard is Brainerd. I'm sorry, Brainerd is one of the Fed governors, and says they're collaborating with MIT on a hypothetical digital currency. Now, the problem with that is if we don't start using the free market versions of these currencies, and there is this huge competition of all these different cryptocurrencies, but it's been good because this competition has caused some amazing things to happen in that space with the usefulness of these things. Bitcoin is sort of like digital gold. You're going to put some value in there when you invest your cash into Bitcoin and hope that it grows. Others like Hashgraph and EOS, those are the two major ones that I'm invested in. They can do things like secure emails, make micropayments of you can visit a website and decide to pay all of the websites that you're visiting 1/100th of a penny if you want, and it's efficient at doing that. I've got a phone wallet, and I can if you have a phone wallet for Hashgraph, for instance, right now I can transfer funds from me in Puerto Rico to you in Ecuador in a quarter of a second. I could transfer you a penny or $1,000,000. Doesn't matter. Quarter of a second, it's in your wallet. And it's highly, highly secure. And if it's in my phone, it takes either a Face ID or my thumbprint to identify. So it's far less likely to get hacked. And then you can hold it offline too. And the thing is, there's no entity holding this. It's not like a bank where there's a single point of potential failure. You have computers running all over the world that are reaching consensus and all agreeing, and you just have a code that gives you title, basically, to however many of these bitcoins or EOS or hashgraph that you have, HBARs that you've purchased or been paid, and nobody can actually hack Bitcoin. You've heard people will say, "Oh, Bitcoin's been hacked." No, that was people put their Bitcoins on an exchange so that you can trade them for other cryptocurrencies or trade them into US dollars and put it back in your bank. And the exchanges have been hacked. But I don't know of any cryptocurrency itself that has been hacked.
So how do you hold your Bitcoins? You don't hold it in a wallet or an exchange, sorry.
Well, we're getting an echo. Yeah. Okay. I've got some that are there's something called a Trezor and there's something called a Nano Ledger, and I have both. And so I've got some in each one of those. And then you can just write the number down on a piece of paper, your private key, it's called. So it's like with these digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and so on, you've got a public key and a private key. And you can put your public key on a billboard. Nobody can take your funds. They can only send funds to you. With your private key, you have the ability to withdraw. So if you've got your public and private key and you write them on a piece of paper, you don't have to have them in your phone or in the Trezor and Nano Ledger are sort of like a USB stick that you plug into your computer. You can put your assets in that thing, unplug it, stick it in a safe. Nobody knows that you've got it. It's interesting, when you travel around with your phone in your pocket or one of these Nano Ledgers, you can fly around with your net worth, basically all of your assets in your pocket.
Which takes me to my next point. What if, and I think I have a conclusion on this, but I would like to know your thoughts. What if the government comes and says, we don't like this competition. People are all this power is going away from us. Now Bitcoin is illegal. What do you think will happen?
Well, that's another thing people should watch, my episode 8 of Hidden Secrets of Money. But there is a possibility that governments would try to clamp down on it. However, there's no possible way that they can destroy the Bitcoin network or the other networks. And there are several that are now, government compliant. So I think what you would see is that if government wanted to ban them, they would try to choke off the points where you can convert these assets into US dollars or into whatever currency that they're trying, if China is trying to ban them and so on. But to try and keep people from being able to send, like I said, I can send you some hash graph right now in a quarter of a second, and the bandwidth is far greater than the Visa MasterCard bandwidth. It can handle more transactions, and it would be almost impossible or pretty much impossible for governments to try to stamp out Bitcoin and many of the other units. Then there's ones that are trying to become compliant and work within government regulation. So,
just as a reminder, gold used to be illegal, right?
Yeah, gold was made illegal in 1933. Roosevelt banned private ownership of gold for Americans, and then in 1934, people call it changing the price of gold. Well, you can't. We were on an international gold standard then. You can't change the price of gold. All you can do is unpeg your currency from the gold standard and allow it to float, and the exchange rates with the other countries will change. And so it was basically the dollar devaluing from being worth 1/20th of an ounce of gold to only being worth 1/35th of an ounce. But that was 1934. So from 1933 until the end of 1974, gold was illegal for Americans to own, whether you were owning it within the United States or overseas. You could invest in mining stocks and so on, but you couldn't hold gold coins or bullion unless they were collector coins or jewelry.
So we've seen that in the past too. So if Bitcoins or some other cryptocurrency becomes illegal, well, we kind of have an idea of what happened before, what could happen in the future. Obviously different. I got into the conclusion that Bitcoin holds its value because of the whole network of people behind it, right? And because it offers a different way of, not a centralized way to hold assets or value. You can exchange your dollars for Bitcoins, but it's not a government controlling it. I think that's what it gives its value, right?
Yeah. The government can't. We're getting that echo again. Sorry. The government can't expand the Bitcoin currency supply. It's limited to 21 million Bitcoins forever. And a whole bunch of the Bitcoins have been lost. Satoshi Nakamoto had, the inventor, had a lot of them. It's speculated that he may be dead, but none of his Bitcoins have ever entered circulation. It looks like they're gone. And then there's people like, there's another guy in my sector, precious metals sector, and people were sending him Bitcoins, and he had some Bitcoins, and then he lost his key, so he can never recover them unless he finds his key. And he didn't create a recovery seed. You can create a seed where you've got a series of words for recovering some of the cryptocurrencies. Basically, this is a time right now, the global economy is really in a bad situation, and world central banks are answering this problem with currency creation, and that's the only thing they know how to do. When your only tool is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And so they're going to be doing massive currency creation to try and beat this thing, to try and beat all of the unemployment, the shrinkage of global GDP, and it's really not going to work. But right now is the time to own things that are real, to own real estate. I believe gold and silver is going to be, that's the sure thing. That's the one that is going to have massive gains in absolute purchasing power and has very little downside risk. I do believe that crypto assets, some of them are going to explode. I think that a couple of the most undervalued are EOS and Hashgraph. EOS currently does the majority of all blockchain processing on the internet, but its market capitalization compared to Bitcoin is down at like just a 1 or 2%. So the processing power is many, many, many times that of Bitcoin. But what does give it its value is the Bitcoin network of the millions of computers that are processing instead of having a bank or one central point where you've got a deposit, you've got these millions of computers all agreeing that they're all trying to solve a problem every 10 minutes, and they're actually taking trillions of guesses per second on what the answer might be to try and solve this problem. And then the one that wins some Bitcoins and gets to update the network, and all of the other computers then agree that this is the new blockchain, and it gets permanently recorded. But some of these cryptocurrencies, they can, like I said, they can make the whole internet a more secure, fairer place. They can limit all of these scams that go on. They can stop junk email. They can secure emails, secure websites. They can serve websites. They can run video games. They can run social media platforms. Bitcoin can't do all of those things, but things like EOS and Hashgraph can.
Interesting. What's your position sizing in gold, silver, and Bitcoin?
I'm not going to tell you the size, but my position in precious metals is more than some of my cryptos have caught up. So they used to be just 10% of my portfolio, and now they're probably 25 or 30%. So eventually I'm going to be converting some of those into precious metals because precious metals, they've been around for 5,000 years. They have stored wealth. They're the only thing that has proven to be money. By the way, for all of your listeners, there's no nation on the planet that uses money. The stuff in your wallet is not money, it's currency. It's fiat national currencies. Currencies are designed to leak value. They have to go down in purchasing power over long periods of time, and that's known as inflation, and it's part of their very design. Currencies have to be a unit of account, a medium of exchange. They've got to be portable, durable, fungible, which means they're interchangeable. If I loan you a $20 bill, you can pay me back a 10, a 5, and 5 ones, and I don't care. That's fungibility. They should be convenient to use, but they should also, money has to be all of those things, plus a store of value. Currencies don't have to be a store of value. And the proof is that right now, Venezuela is in a hyperinflation. Zimbabwe is beginning another hyperinflation. Libya is in a hyperinflation. Governments can print the currency to zero. And yeah,
it is true. I lived through it. In Ecuador, we destroyed our currency in the 2000s. It's very interesting. And what whole value is people that actually made it out. And it felt just like right now, by the way. Now the world is living what we felt when the currency was being destroyed. It's hard stuff. Hard stuff. That's what makes it. And I know your plan is, and it's been for over a decade, is not to hold gold and silver forever. It's at some point, you should change it for real estate.
Yeah, when I developed something called wealth cycles years ago, and I saw a chart of the Dow Gold ratio, the Dow Jones Industrial Average being a proxy for the value of the stock market. And it went back more than 100 years. And what you saw was that the price of the stock market measured in how many ounces of gold that it costs. If you divide one into the other, you're eliminating the currency. You're now measuring the Dow's price in ounces of gold. And you can do the same thing with bushels of wheat or tons of iron or barrels of oil or what fraction of a single family median price home that it takes to buy the Dow. And what you see is that it goes along in this range and the bubbles got bigger and bigger. But basically, it really wasn't going anywhere. If the bubbles are bigger, then when it reverts back to the mean, it overshoots to the opposite side bigger. And when I saw that, I sort of imagined in my head, and nobody else had really done this, if you take that same graph and you flip it upside down, now you're measuring gold in the percentage of shares of the Dow that is required to buy 1 ounce of gold. And you put these two things together and you see that nothing goes up. Everything goes in this valuation channel from overvalued to undervalued to overvalued to undervalued. And the trick is to pick the thing that's undervalued and sell it. The thing that's, ride the thing that's getting overvalued, sell it and buy the thing that's undervalued. And it's just like taking that next wave and pasting it onto the end of the last wave, and you're escaping this valuation channel, which is, to me, the only road to true wealth is to escape that valuation channel and not ride it forever. So if you're invested in just one asset class forever, it's to me, it's not a road to true wealth. Now, things that produce income, though, like real estate, they're a little bit of a different story because you have to add that income to it. But it's still not good to ride the value of real estate down. If your real estate investments are going to fall by half or three quarters, like for instance, if you had sold a single family median price home in the U.S. in 1971 when gold became free trading, and then you bought silver, 8.5 years later, you would have been able to buy 19 homes, just like the one that you sold. 19. This is true gains in wealth. Then if you rent out those homes, you've got some serious cash flow.
Very good. Thank you very much, sir. I think it's very clear. I think that will be all for today. And where can people find you? Where can people learn more about this?
Okay. If you go to goldsilver.com, that's my website, and download my book, Guide to Investing in Gold and Silver. It's free, but the book has about 20% of it is a very entertaining history of money and currencies. There's a 20% that's some very simple economics. Now, this was written just before the global financial crisis of 2008, and then I updated it in 2015. But even today, it's still the best-selling book on the subject. But it covers things that with the history of money, simple economics, current state of the global economy, and then some potential outcomes. And the last 20% is a guide to investing in gold and silver. So you're getting a very well-rounded education on economics, basically. So go to my website, download a free copy. It's free. Or you can buy it on Amazon if you want to pay for it. It's fine. And that's about. Otherwise, I've got a series of YouTube videos, and I've got a very popular channel. So you can just do an internet search for Mike Maloney or Hidden Secrets of Money. Though I would suggest my Hidden Secrets of Money videos, one of them has 8.5 million views roughly. All of them are over 1 million views at this point. And it's a great place to get an education on economics, monetary history, and precious metals, and episode 8, if you're interested in the cryptocurrencies.
I always, to all the people that want to understand economy, I send them to your channel, Hidden Secrets of Money, because it's explained so well. It's such a complex system, but you made such a marvelous job making it easy. And everybody, please listening, go there now, write it down. You have to see it.
Yeah, that's due to my producer director, Dan Rubach, and he has 2 full-time animators working for him. So we do this to a level of production that's more like public broadcasting or the History Channel, or I mean, it's not your average YouTube video. These are done to a very high level. In fact, episodes 9 and 10 connect, and it's actually worth putting those on the big screen and getting a bowl of popcorn.
Yeah, exactly. Hope to see it on Netflix sometime.
Well, we're trying.
See you on the next occasion. Thanks.